Welcome to the John Clamp Show, episode 6. Got some week 5 thoughts, and then we'll move into my week 6 predictions. To kick us off, Florida State got upset by Virginia last Friday night. Caught looking ahead to Miami. The defense just did not play well on the road. Weeknight game against a good Virginia team that has a high-powered offense. Just nothing was set up well for Florida State there, and they got caught. Virginia beat them 46-38 in double overtime. It's not a great showing from a top 10 team in Florida State. I don't think it's going to have a huge impact on their season. I still think Florida State's a really good football team, and they'll be a top 25 team at the end of the year. Might even still make the ACC championship game in the playoffs, depending on how they respond. Just not a good showing last Friday night for them. So they're going to have to bounce back real quick because they got Miami this week. Illinois, they bounced back versus USC, lost by 53 points to Indiana last weekend. Then they bounced back at home, beat Illinois on a walk-off field goal to win the game 34-32. Or beat USC. Illinois beat USC on a walk-off field goal to win the game 34-32. So great response by them. They're a resilient team, and they're going to win some games this year, and they're still in the top 25, obviously, and I think they should be. They're a really good football team that just had an off day against a really good Indiana football team. Alabama looks like they're starting to hit their stride. They beat Georgia on the road in Athens in a night game, ended the 33 home game winning streak Georgia had that was the longest in the country. They got outrushed like 200 some to maybe 100 yards in the game and still ended up winning, which is pretty impressive. But they do need to fix the rush defense and probably be more effective in rushing offense. But Ty Simpson has really hit his stride as quarterback. Their passing game is really efficient right now. It's really clicking. And Kalen DeBoer looks to be like he's responded well. They do have Vanderbilt this week, which got them last year. So pay attention to that. It's where game day is going to be this week. And last week 5 thought, Penn State comes up short yet again in a top 10 matchup, this time at home in the whiteout at night. Really no reason they should have lost this game. Just underperforming yet again. And I fell for the trap. I picked Penn State in this game to beat Oregon and finally break through. And they didn't. They lost again, double overtime. Not sure that they're ever going to break through or here soon. So Penn State's just going to Penn State. But moving into week 6 picks, those are all my week 5 thoughts. So week 6 picks now. Not as many great games as there were last week, or high-profile matchups as there were last week. But there could be some good games. And a lot of these picks are going to be more for next week, which should be a really good slate. But to start us off, I have number 9 Texas at Florida. Texas offense to this point in the season has been pretty underwhelming, but the Florida offense has been downright terrible. They put up 55 in the opener versus Long Island University, as they should have, and since then they've scored 7 versus Miami, 10 versus LSU, and 16 versus South Florida. DJ Lagway is not playing very well. He only has 5 touchdowns to 6 interceptions on the season. And they play a Texas defense that is one of the 3 best in the country, if not the best. So, not a good situation for Florida here. They might be able to catch Texas looking ahead to next week, which I believe is when they play Oklahoma. So, that might be really Florida's only chance here to upset Texas at home. It seems both quarterbacks' expectations coming into the year with Arch Manning and DJ Lagway were a bit too high. Arch Manning hasn't played bad, but he hasn't played up to those expectations either. Like I said, the Texas offense has been underwhelming to this point. DJ Lagway definitely hasn't played up to his expectations. Florida's 1-3, not playing well right now. So I think this is just a bad spot for Florida. They really their only chance is catching Texas looking ahead. I don't see Texas doing that, and I think Texas is going to win the game in the swamp 30-10 over Florida. Next game I'm picking is number 24 Virginia, coming off that big upset at home versus Florida State, on the road at Louisville, who is very quietly undefeated. They're flying under the radar quite a bit. Virginia's offense is explosive. As I said, put up 46 on Florida State. They're averaging 45 plus this season, and led by quarterback Chandler Morris. Louisville plays really complimentary football. They're averaging 38 plus points per game on offense, giving up less than 20 on defense. So they're playing really solid football. For this one, I think it's going to be a close game. I think both teams are both pretty good and pretty evenly matched as well. I am expecting a more high scoring affair. It's at Louisville, so they have the home field advantage. And I think they're in a good spot catching Virginia off of a massive upset. So there might be some of an emotional hangover on the Virginia sideline. So I have Louisville squeaking out a 37-31 victory at home over Virginia and moving on to be 5-0. Another team that's quietly undefeated is Houston. They play Texas Tech this weekend. Texas Tech has been dominating everyone and is coming off a bye week. A common opponent that Texas Tech and Houston have is Oregon State. Texas Tech won 45-14, and Houston beat Oregon State 27-24. I think Texas Tech is a better team. Houston has been undefeated and played well, but I think that comes to an end this week, and I think Texas Tech continues to roll and get the win at Houston 41-17. Next game I'm picking is college game day game. Game day is going to be at Alabama when Vanderbilt travels to Tuscaloosa. Top 20 matchup. Vandy's number 16, Alabama's number 10. Bama coming off a big win at Georgia. I picked Georgia to win that game. I didn't think Alabama was going to be able to beat the Bulldogs at home, but they proved me wrong. It seems like Georgia might have an Alabama problem because they beat everyone else in the SEC, but for whatever reason, struggle with Bama quite a bit. Vandy upset Bama last year in this spot. It was actually right after Alabama beat Georgia last year that Vandy beat Alabama. So we'll see if they can do that again, but this time they have to go to Tuscaloosa to do it. I don't think that it's going to happen 2 years in a row. Vandy's not going to catch Bama by surprise this year, especially after last year. Bama's going to want to get their get back for that loss. And I think Bama just has too much talent on their roster for Vandy to hang. Vandy might hang for the first quarter and a half maybe, but I think Alabama pulls away at home and wins this matchup 48-23. Next game I'm picking is Boise State at number 21 Notre Dame. Boise is on a 3-game win streak after their embarrassing week 1 loss to South Florida when they lost 34-7. Since that point, their offense is humming, and they've won every game by double digits. They're 3-1 on the year. Maddox Madsen is playing really well, their quarterback. Obviously, they don't have Ashton Jeanty anymore. He's with the Raiders. So they've taken kind of a running back by committee approach there. And it's working so far. Their offense is still putting up points. The passing game is better than it was last year. On the Notre Dame side of the ball, C.J. Carr is playing incredibly efficient right now, making some downfield throws as well. So it's not like just dink and duck offense that Notre Dame is running. They're explosive, putting up a bunch of points. 2 straight weeks of 56 versus Purdue and then at Arkansas. The Notre Dame running backs, Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, are both studs. They have 8 touchdowns on the year, back-to-back games with 6 combined touchdowns. Big question mark in this game is the Notre Dame defense. I haven't been able to figure them out yet. They struggled early in the year. Seems like they may have found something in the second half against Purdue, and that continued into the Arkansas game. Arkansas has a pretty good offense, and they held them to 13 points. So Notre Dame's defense seems to be taking a step in the right direction. I'm not ready to say that they're going to dominate everyone on their schedule yet, but it seems they're improving. So I have Notre Dame winning this game 48-24. Just think they have too much talent on their roster for Boise State to hang with them for the whole game. Last game I'm picking for week 6 is number 3 Miami at number 18 Florida State. Like I said multiple other times in this video, Florida State was upset by Virginia last week. Caught looking ahead to this game. Miami is coming off a bye week. They didn't have the chance to be caught looking ahead, which probably works pretty good in their favor. Florida State does have the home field, and they did beat Alabama, who is obviously a really good football team, at home earlier in the year. Their defense is a question mark, giving up 46 to Virginia. Miami's offense is pretty good with Carson Beck at quarterback. So they're going to have to play better than they did against Virginia to win this game. I think Miami coming off the bye week, they're fresh. They've been able to prepare for this game for 2 weeks. I think Florida State's home field advantage is going to keep them in the game and make it close, but I think Miami ultimately pulls this game out and wins 30-24. If you're keeping track with me, I went 5-3 in my picks last week. I'm 16-12 on the year. Haven't been able to create the separation I want, but I feel really good about these picks for this week. Hopefully I can create the separation this week and my correct and incorrect choices. Yeah, other than that, like the video if you want to see more. Comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, where you think I'm wrong, where you think I'm right. And we'll see you next time on The John Clampett Show.